My wholesaling and flipping business is going to do over 100 deals this year in a market of 250,000 people while spending less than $3,000 a month. Yes, you heard that right, less than $3,000 a month. And this video, keep in mind, is not going to be entertaining. It is literally showing you step by step of exactly what we do and how we did it to get there, to get 100 deals in a year, spending that little in such a small market. So without further ado, let's get after it. You may be wondering, okay, there's 3 ways on how I got my company up to 100 deals in a year, but what exactly does the company look like and what does the structure look like? Well, as far as wholesaling and flipping goes, this is kind of how we have it separated out. So 80% of the deals that we do are wholesales, right? And this is properties where you get under contract and you assign it to an end buyer for a middleman fee, right? And sometimes these are easier for deals when they maybe have a lot of construction that it needs, maybe they're a little bit tighter of deals, maybe there's not as much profit to be had there. It's just a little too risky for us to do, so we instead do wholesaling and send it to a buyer instead. And I will say that we use about the same 5 cash buyers every single time. And the reason for that is because obviously being in a local market, 250,000, 300,000 people, and doing that many deals, you know who can execute. And when it comes to wholesaling real estate, you're already crossing your fingers the way it is. And so you need to make sure there's an end buyer who can actually perform. And this is absolutely key. You don't want to find these buyers that are going to push your timeline back, ruin your reputation, and not be able to close, and make sure that these buyers will come back and buy again. And so that is basically with wholesaling right there. And so 20% we flip the houses. So basically we'll buy these properties, you know, for private money, with other different sources of ways of getting the funds to do it. We'll flip them, use contractors, and resell them on the market. So that's pretty basic. Everybody knows the house flipping aspect. And I kind of wanted to run through the 3 things of basically what got us to do 100 deals per year. And specifically this year, 2025, we're absolutely crushing it with 100 deals on the year. So let me show you exactly how to do this start to finish. Now, before I say this, you need to realize exactly what your time and your money is worth, right? And so do you have more time or do you have more money? At the moment, you need to realize this before I get started. So first thing I'm going to say is getting leads. The second thing I'm going to have is close. The third thing I'm just going to have is execute, right? And these are the 3 things exactly how we do this, and I'm going to go more in depth. And so basically with getting leads, this is exactly what we do, and I'm going to give you the no BS version of exactly how we spend less than $3,000 a month to get 100 deals per year. And so it really doesn't get too difficult, but I wanted to, going back to what I said earlier, you need to realize, do you have more time than money, or do you have more money than time right now? This is the biggest factor on what your lead spend is going to be and how you get motivated sellers. Now, this is going to be structured as how I started, and pretty much it's going to all feed into what exactly we do anyways. So if you do have more money than time right now, you're still going to get what you need from me to see exactly what we do. But if you have more time than money, you're also going to see the great options that we have that we still use today. So first thing I'm going to say, without a doubt, the first thing, if you have more time than money right now, you need to do pre-foreclosure. And basically what this is obviously pre-foreclosure houses, if you don't know what they are basically houses that people are behind on their payments on, and they are going into pre-foreclosure, so they have not been auctioned off yet, right? So they are in that midst of, they're getting letters from the bank, they're getting notice, they know what's going on, and they're just in a very, very tight spot. But with these pre-foreclosures, you need to make sure you handle them correctly, and we'll kind of go through exactly how we find them, how we handle them real quickly. So basically what you need to make sure with pre-foreclosures is getting the correct data. This is the biggest thing, because if you are going on the county website where it is already public that their address is being auctioned off here at a certain point, you're too late. People are already calling them. I promise you, you are too late. It doesn't mean you can't get the deal. It's just a lot more difficult because now they have shut themselves out. They have closed the blinds, if you will, as far as being able to talk with anyone, because they are now getting calls from everybody. And most of them are sharks, and I'll kind of explain this later on too, on how not to be that shark. And obviously there's certain ways where we get the data from, which a big website we use is Trellis. Law. And basically, this isn't even real estate related, and I'm not sponsored by these people in any way, shape, or form. I just think they're a great website. And what it does is it has active court cases for exactly the foreclosure in your certain county, right? But it doesn't do just foreclosures, it does all kinds of other cases. But in this case, you can look up foreclosures in a certain county where it has open cases where the mortgage company filed suit, right, due to back payments and due to not paying on their mortgage, right? And so that's what's going to be able to pull it before it goes public. So keep in mind that list is before really anybody knows about it. So what you can do is you can go through this list, you see the names, you see exactly who's suing them, you see the court case, but then you go to truepeoplesearch.com. And what this is going to do is you're going to look up those people's names in truepeoplesearch.com, where it's also free, including with Trellis Law is also free, but True People Search is free, where you can go in there, put their names, and put the city name on where it's at, or county, or wherever the case may be. They're going to pull the address for you, and the phone numbers completely free. You literally need no money to do these pre-foreclosures, and that's what's so desirable, because the profit margins are so high because you have no money in it. All you need is effort, and it's very, very difficult sometimes to get a hold of these people and get in their living room. So that's the whole idea, is you want to cold call these people and be understanding. Now, what I mean by understanding is, like going back to what I was saying with people coming in and being sharks. You don't want to do this. What I mean by being a shark is coming in, calling these people, hey, I'll buy your house fast for cash, and make it super easy for you. I promise you, and this is where a lot of people go wrong, wholesalers and flippers included, these people don't want to sell. They do not want to sell. I mean, their house is in pre-foreclosure because they have stuck themselves so deep because of wanting to stay in the house, right? So think about this for a second. They don't want to sell. Okay, so how do we get them to sell? You need to get comfortable with them, and you need to help them with their options. This is the absolute biggest thing. You need to help them with their options. And what I mean by this is going through all of the options of how to save their house. Yes, literally how to save their house, which is so counterintuitive of what you'd think you'd actually say. You want to go in there and see, like, hey, how can I help you? I want to help you keep your house. Obviously, I buy houses, but I want to make sure you can keep it. In the case of you can actually keep it, and I know the laws better than maybe you do, so maybe I can help you out. And in the end, if it doesn't work out, you can just buy the house. And they understand that, and they actually trust you because you didn't come in like a shark, right? And so that's what you want to do, is help them with their options and run through all of them to see if they can keep them, right? But more times than not, 95% of the time, there is no option for these people keeping their house, right? I mean, you could offer them, okay, yeah, what about listing the property if they don't want to sell it? Or if they want to end up selling it but for too much, if they owe too much, right? Or what about getting a roommate? Do you have family members that could pay your arrears? Can you get a loan modification, right? These are all questions you can ask and run through all these options. Literally try to get them to keep their house, and you will realize 95% of the time they can't, and they will choose you because you weren't a shark. So that is pre-foreclosures, the best thing ever if you have more time than money right now. And so the second thing I want to talk about is if you have, you have some time on your hands, but you also have a little bit of money on your hands if you don't want to do it yourself. And this is absolutely by far the most profitable thing that we do, and that is organic SEO. And basically what organic SEO is it's ranking your website and or Google business profile on Google, where people can find you if they want to sell their house fast or looking for local cash home buyers in the area. Now, this is absolutely lethal because, one, you don't have to put really any effort to get these people to fill out the form on your website. All you have to do is call them because they filled out a form on your website, and they're hot as hell leads. They're a completely warm lead. They know you're going to call them and all that jazz, right? And the reason it's so compelling and why they're the most motivated sellers ever and why they bring the most profit is because they are not getting clickbaited on an inbound lead source like Facebook ads, YouTube ads, and all these other pay-per-lead companies and other people that they advertise for. It's not an impulse click, right? They're not filling out a form just to see, oh, I just saw this ad and I was curious what you would buy my house for, and they all want retail. 80% of them want retail. Well, in organic SEO, you are getting people who are literally typing in Google, sell my house fast, or who buys houses in your local area, and like it would look something like this in Google, sell my house fast in whatever city. And this is absolutely lethal because not only if you do it correctly, I do SEO for people, but I have YouTube videos literally on my YouTube channel, start to finish, of me making a client website. So if you don't want to pay for somebody to do it, that's fine. Watch my free YouTube videos, and it'll get you to rank your website and Google Business Profile to rank at the top for key terms like sell my house fast and all these motivating key terms that people would willingly look up. You may not think some of these people look up, but there's hundreds of people per month in your local market that are looking this stuff up, and you are missing out on all of them because your competitors have a website and you don't. So if you don't have organic SEO, especially if you have a little bit of money and you don't want to use your own time to do it, or if you're like, you know what, I want to spend more time on getting a website up there, and I don't want to spend much money doing it. Well, I have both options, right? I have free YouTube videos on my channel, so go give them a watch on how to get your website up there because you're missing out on so many deals that way. Now, organic SEO is our second one, which is our highest profitable one by far. Pre-foreclosure as well. And we're going to go next to cold calling with VAs. And this is one thing I need to preface. Never, ever hand dial. And now, I don't mean never, ever, right? Never, ever hand dial a mass list. Mass list specifically, right? Never, ever, ever hand dial a massive list specifically, right? You can call yourself, but please, please, please use an automatic dialer. Basically, what these automatic dialers do is they dial multiple phone lines at a time because, as some of you know, when you buy a mass list of 20,000 people per se, a $2,000 list at 10 cents a record, it's a lot of money. You need to use it wisely, right? An automatic dialer is not only going to be able to dial 5 lines at a time, you'll get these records that'll have multiple phone numbers attached to them, and most of them don't work. You need to be able to keep calling these people if they don't answer. We have done so many deals where we have literally repeatedly on the automatic dialer without us even having to do lift a finger, without having to dial a single number, dial somebody for 150 to 200 times, and they finally pick up one time and they are ready to go to sell. And you would never get that without an automatic dialer. So please, 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 if you have a mass list that you have, please use an automatic dialer. It is absolutely freaking necessary if you aren't already. With that too, a lot of people tell me, okay, Dawson, like cold calling is so saturated. There's so many people in my market that cold call. I just think it's so dead because so many people get calls. You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong, and there's a reason for that, right? So with cold calling, it's a big luck and timing game. It is all luck and timing. And pretty much with that is if I gave a list to me and 3 of my other competitors, I can guarantee you we would all get different deals. There's a reason for that, right? You need to make sure that you're not only getting in touch with these people, but here's the deal is if you're hand dialing, you can't keep following up with these people and get different deals. There's a lot of luck involved, and you got to catch these people at the exact right time. And that's the whole point of cold calling is it's a lot of luck, like I said, and a lot of timing involved. You're catching these people right at the right time to call them because we have a lot of the times where people will tell us, nope, not interested, over 3 to 5 times, and finally you call them that 6th time and they're finally interested. And keep in mind that's spaced out after like 30 to 60 to 90 days. After they say they're not interested, you call them back later and things change. An automatic dialer is going to be able to keep that all in sanction, so there's nothing that falls through the cracks. And we are going to do so many deals from this, and it is awesome because then if you don't want to call yourself on an automatic dialer, because that's how I started, was on a dialer, and I know it like it's the back of my hand. I have VAs who literally, and you can find VAs anywhere. You don't need to use an agency. There's Facebook groups everywhere you can get VAs. $3.50 per hour. Literally, I have 2 VAs I've had for almost 3 years now. I pay them $3.50 an hour to call 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, every single week of the year, and they're having almost 150 conversations per day. per day. And it's people telling them either yes or no. This isn't voicemails. This isn't people who didn't answer. Per day, people telling them, nope, I don't want to sell. Or they say, yes, I do want to sell, right? And that's where they send you the lead via whatever API conversion you have, and that's the best way to do it. Now, that's cold calling with VAs, and that's just a great another way if you don't want to cold call and if you have more money than time. It's a great way to outsource that for a few $100 a month. It's super awesome. Now, the fourth and last thing, this one is going to be a shocker to a lot of people, but because it's very beginner-esque, right? And we still use it religiously to this day in our business, and that is bandit signs. Now, a lot of people see this as something that, oh my gosh, you guys use bandit signs. That's like beginner stuff. You guys do 100 deals a year and you're using bandit signs. Yes, strategically though, we don't put bandit signs in intersections. We don't put them in boulevards. We don't do anything like that. We put them in our own flip deals and wholesale deals that will sell to cash buyers, right? And so the pitch there for any cash buyer, obviously we're lucky because we use a lot of the same ones, and so they're very obviously agreeable to do it. And literally all the pitch is hey, I'm going to stick an all yellow little yard sign with black lettering that says I buy houses and a black phone number, and that's it. And the reason for that is because it's highly visible and easy to read, and everybody knows exactly what it says. There's no fluff, there's no making it look pretty or anything like that. And you tell the cash buyer, I'm going to stick this in the front yard of her flip, and obviously you gave me permission to do it, so the city can't take it out. People are going to drive by, they're going to see the roll-off out front of them cleaning out the property. They're going to see the roofers on the top of the roof redoing the roof, working on the property, and people can obviously tell, oh, this is a house flipper, right? You're going to appeal to that crowd who is going to call that bandit sign of saying, hey, my Aunt Sally just passed away. She's looking to sell her house as well. Different people in the neighborhood who drive by it maybe a week straight, and they're like, man, I should give this guy a call. And the one thing you need to keep in mind with all of these like I said, this is our best four. You're going to get the most profit for paying less than $3,000 a month to get all this stuff. And it appeals to all people on how it trips their trigger. Some people who are in pre-foreclosure, that's very niche. That's a little bit separate. Organic SEO is people who are in sudden something happened and they need to find somebody on Google. Some people love looking people up on Google to find somebody near them, right? Some people don't. Some people will never ever look up on Google, but if they got a call, they'd be like, yeah, I suppose I might have to sell my property here fast because of this, and this. Some people like that because maybe they won't ever fill out something on Google. Lastly, with bandit signs too, some people will never answer a phone call. Some people don't even know how to use Google. Some of these age groups don't know how to use a smartphone or a computer. And so having that guy they can call down the road, they wrote down your phone number and call you later, that's super lethal because you are now tripping the trigger of all types of people who would want to sell their house fast, because it's all about being at the right place at the right time. And I want to preface this. The game of wholesaling and flipping real estate is getting motivated. I'm going to say getting the highest quality motivated sellers for the cheapest. And this is exactly the best way to do it, is literally this formula. Contact pre-foreclosures if you have time. Get your website up at the Google at that top so people can find it, fill out your form, and get more warm leads inbound, completely inbound, right, without having to lift a finger. Cold calling with VAs, it's another way to get leads, catching people at the right time who are going to send you leads on autopilot, right? Bandit sign, you're going to get calls from people in the neighborhood or whatever the case may be. We get so many deals from all of these individually. Now, let me keep in mind, none of these deals do really more deals than the other. They all equally do the same amount of deals. I will say organic SEO by far is the most profitable. It brings us the most profit. Number 2 is cold calling with VAs, and number 3 is bandit signs by far. Pre-foreclosure is also number 4. They all bring in so much profit because in this year, we're going to get close to 900,000, even touching that million, which is crazy, doing 100 deals, right? In a local market of 250,000 people. And if you think, my market's too small, man, I got to venture out into different markets, I need to start nationwide wholesaling. You don't. I promise. You can absolutely crush your market doing these ways to get leads and absolutely kill it. And so If you aren't doing any of these already, you need to incorporate them in your business. And I obviously I'm going to spend the most time on getting leads because that's the most important, right? Because now, once you get in these people's living rooms, all you need to do is close, and you just need to be real. The first thing is literally just be real. Understand, be a normal human being. Get to their level, get to their wavelength, get to their aura of how are they feeling. Put yourself in their shoes. Be on their same level of, okay, how can I help you? You need to not come in there and act like a shark. You need to come in there and be a human. Come in there and see how I can help you. What do you need to walk away with? Because I need to make sure you are comfortable into getting into that apartment. Or maybe that you need to pay off the estate. You have other siblings who want more money because the family member died. There's a lot of different scenarios, but you just need to be real, right? And the second thing is understand their needs. Right? You need to understand how their needs are met, because that way at the end of the day you'll get the deal, right? Whatever your close rate is, maybe you're good at sales, maybe you're not. That's a whole different ballgame, right? But understanding their needs is going to absolutely help maneuver that conversation, because if they say, I need to sell in 2 weeks, I understand this property's worth $300,000, but I know it's going to take forever to get $300,000. I will take $200,000 today just for a quick convenience. You need to understand that, because then if their timeline is, they have a lot of time, or they don't have much time, they maybe, their basement flooded, they can't afford it, maybe they're getting a divorce, anything like that, you need to make sure you are absolutely dialed with as far as understanding their needs, right? Now, last thing is to execute. You need to make sure you execute, whether that's dispositions or flipping the house, right? And so dispositions, first off, with wholesaling real estate in general, is understanding the market. You need to understand exactly what a flipper would do. This includes repair costs, ARV, what it would sell for after it was fully fixed up, holding costs, all of this stuff, right? And if you don't know what this stuff is, you need to make sure that you do. And if you need to bring a cash buyer with you or another wholesaler to JV, so be it. You just have to do it, right? And you need to understand this, because you never, ever, ever, I am so sick of wholesalers locking up properties for too freaking high. It just does not make sense. It doesn't make sense. You need to at least have a JV partner with you or a cash buyer if you're new, right? Or if you're a flipper, obviously you know how to run all these numbers. So it's not even a concern for you. But if you were to wholesale, what would you buy it for? Just because it's a bad deal and you want to get rid of it doesn't mean somebody else is going to buy it, right? So keep that in mind, right? You need to make sure you understand the market, understanding really what it would be sold for. I'm going to say this last thing, be conservative with your numbers. Don't fluff the numbers. Don't fluff the numbers thinking, oh, maybe on a good day it would get this. It's not true. You need to be conservative. You need to make sure that you have the numbers in so dialed that why would a flipper say no? That's what you want. And so now flipping. Obviously, if you're a wholesaler maybe who wants to flip, you're an experienced wholesaler. If you're a flipper, obviously you already know about a lot of these things, but the main thing is money. You need to just get money. The contracting and all that stuff will fend for itself. You really don't, you just need the money to buy it. At the end of the day, whether that's private money, commercial loans from a bank if you're qualified for that, or anything like that, and even partnering with people is a big one on how we learned, right? And so getting the money somehow. And sometimes partnering can be the best way to do this, because we'll bring a motivated seller and say, hey, we want to flip this house. We don't have the money or the resources, but we have a good deal. And that's where you can come to your cash buyers sometimes if they're cool enough, and say, hey, you fund the deal, you rehab it, it's a great deal for you. Let's just split the deal. You don't even have to pay me an assignment fee. Let's just split the deal. I want to just walk through exactly how we're doing this. I want to be involved in the flip. You do many of these, you're going to learn how to flip. And once you get the money, you'll find the money as you get more motivated sellers throughout the way, right? And there's many people who I'm sure will partner with you. So that's the easiest way to get money, right? But you don't get as much profit. Once you get your own money, you can now execute just rehab and execute the rehab, making sure it's up to standard to get to your ARV, right? You need to get the rehab up to the standard of what you comped it out at as what it would sell for, right? Maybe that $299 down the block is way nicer than yours. You need to price that in. People aren't going to buy that stuff sometimes, right? You might get lucky, but you need to make sure you execute on the money, buying the property, and rehabbing it in a timely manner and selling it for as much as possible, right? And so, with all this being said, obviously this is exactly how we do 100 deals in a year. Mainly, getting the leads is the absolute most important thing. So if you aren't getting any leads right now, especially if you're an experienced flipper or you're a new wholesaler, you need to find a way, whether that's picking one marketing method or picking a couple of these marketing methods. Obviously, I provide all these services to help you get more motivated sellers if you have more money than time. But if you have more time than money, do this yourself. I have videos showing exactly how to do all of this stuff. So keep that in mind. This is exactly how we do 100 deals in a year, getting up to close to that $1 million a year in profit at 250,000 person market, spending less than $3,000 a month. Please copy this. If you want, comment below if you just want me to send this entire blueprint to you. I know it's not much. You can screenshot it if you want, or comment below if you want me to send it to you. I'd be happy to. But thanks for watching today. Please go out in the marketplace, use this stuff. I want you to get better. But thanks for watching.